And welcome everybody back to the channel. It is the most earth-breaking, ground-shaking, but never media show, multi-taking the man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying villain in all of DC lore, General Zod. And today I am here with episode 2. Thank you everybody who tuned in to episode 1 or rewatched, replayed. This is my commentary, my coverage of everything DC, and I am covering everything that went down in Comic-Con. My video was exactly what I expected. All 6 things I showed were copyright, so thank you, Warner Bros. And all of you assholes over there who claim everything. I'm probably going to put in a couple of uh, complaints to them and kind of fight those because there was commentary. Whatever, that's a bunch of YouTube mumbo jumbo nonsense. um, Anyways, I am here to do episode 2, which is a breakdown of James Gunn and my feelings because since it was announced a year ago, I said nothing really, but saw a lot of stupid things posted. So today I'm going to play 2 videos, one with James Gunn introducing himself into the DC, what his plans are, and then the one that he posted for San Diego Comic-Con, and give you guys my thoughts and feelings on both videos. I'm going to read some articles which talk about the plans and kind of tell you what I'm feeling about it because I hear a lot of nonsense, especially when a lot of people seem to be, I don't know, hesitantly optimistic about the Marvel announcements, which I'll talk about tonight with Pop Culture PB. But yet again, DC gets no credit for what I believe they did a better showcase than Marvel did. A lot of people were like, oh, they just announced the logo. All of the trailers that I talked about yesterday were dropped by DC. And for me, Marvel really didn't show very many trailers. They showed some stuff on Thunderbolts, they showed some stuff on Brave New World, and I think they did something for Fantastic Four. But for me, and a lot of people commented about how lackluster Marvel showing was until that announcement. So I think there's a lot to be said about that. And once again, DC getting no respect for anything that they do, and it kind of pisses me off as a DC fan because how many times are we in this position, and yet I see more people excited about like Penguin or the new Batman coming on Amazon or the Batman 2 or Joker 2. Like these are all DC projects that are in the works. They're all things that are done. There's things coming out this year. And I believe Superman is dropping its first trailer sometime this year. I want to say it's going to come out the end of this year or the beginning of next year. And so I don't know. I think that a lot of people are either not paying attention to DC or just ignoring it. And that really makes me kind of upset because comparatively, if you take out the Zack Snyder DC run, I think we've had a better track record than Marvel has uh, after Infinity War. I'm talking about stuff uh, after their whole hot streak, and DC's kind of gotten overshadowed. And I think this could be the next couple of years where DC finally has a plan. And to lay that plan out, I kind of want to take us back to the beginning. This is from a year ago. And I kind of want to give my own critique of what James Gunn says because there's a lot of stuff here I want to highlight about how James Gunn laid out his plan and the fact that the DC universe now has a plan and a clear direction. So this is from a year ago, and this is the announcement of DC's first slate, and it's called Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters. And I actually even love the title.
James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of, our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And
I agree. The problem with DC, and this is some of the stuff in the interview that I liked, a lot of people commented on. I know they were hyped, and then people got up in arms about some of the stuff on Superman, and I'm going to address that today. I've never really been a big Superman fan. Obviously, I'm General Zod. But I do see what he's saying. If you look at how DC was structured, and people bitch and complain, he got rid of Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill, a lot of the old stuff. But DC needed that. They need one clear focus and direction. And I completely understand what he's saying. If you, back in the day, the movies tried to connect, but then you had Wonder Woman doing her own thing, and then they did a half-ass trying to bring everybody together. It felt rushed a bit. It felt like there was no story and character development. James Gunn, no matter what people want to say, at the end of the day, he did create, to me, one of the best Marvel and surprising Marvel movies in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's a very good storyteller. And so I 100% agree with this statement. The DC has been disconnected for years, and everything's been separated. So I 100% agree. And if you guys don't know, he's working with Peter Safran. Him and James Gunn both are like the Kevins of the DC universe. And I've been saying for years, we need somebody like Kevin to give every project direction and to focus on certain directors, certain actors being consistent in every movie. So when people go and see a movie, they know they're not just watching separate things. They can connect with somebody like Marvel. It's a very good strategy.
If something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of...
Now, I'm going to kind of skip over these ones here because this was before we got those movies. I think James Gunn proved his point with this. Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Blue Beetle, all the ones that came out before James Gunn reset the universe did not do well. And they didn't do well because some people blame James Gunn and Peter Safran, but they let the other movies come out. And I think that's important because at least they didn't scrap everything. They let the universe kind of die in a sense on its own. And look, this is my feelings, and people can think this is a hot take or whatever. I did not like 80% of what was in the Snyderverse. A lot of people bitched and complained, but James Gunn resets everything, and they bitch and complain about that. And that's the one thing about DC fans that has been hilarious, being a fan myself, is that everybody wants change, but when someone comes in and does sweeping changes, then everybody bitches that they're changing the DC. But this is what fans have wanted. At least for me, on my part, this is what I wanted. I said, yes, change stuff. We need consistency. There's nobody who is willing to change the format of these with the times. So I agree with those. So these are a couple of the announcements he was talking
that
about.
I really love that resets the entire DC universe. Then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU.
I did like Blue Beetle,
which I'm going to tell you about now. So Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming. This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now, this, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos.
Which we saw Creature Commandos in Comic-Con. I did the trailers yesterday. I think this is great. People said, "Oh, this reminds me of the Suicide Squad." Well, yeah, Suicide Squad has been dissolved as part of James Gunn kind of getting rid of that timeline, and now they're going to be codename Creature Commandos, and I'm fine with that. Suicide Squad was not working. The game was terrible. The one movie, ironically enough, that was good was done by James Gunn. The only one to survive that was Peacemaker with any kind of success. Let's be real, nobody liked the Suicide Squad. Nobody was interested in the Suicide Squad. This was a great reset.
Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action.
So I read off the cast list for that. I read that they're going to have uh, Frank Grillo, and there's a bunch of people in there, but everybody who voices the character will be the monster in live action. I think that that's brilliant because that makes the animation connect in live action. So now you have the voice actors actually doing the characters, which I'm gathering is either going to be makeup or a little bit of CGI here and there. So you can have that transfer over, and I think that that is a very smart move.
The next project up is Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story.
Doom Patrol is great. I am very excited about Waller. I always thought that Viola Davis played a great Amanda Waller. Uh, there was a lead-in. If you guys watched Peacemaker season 1, which is coming back for season 2, it's simultaneously in production, I guess, for a while now. But this is great stuff. I'm glad that he's keeping Peacemaker in the continuity. And people said, "Oh, well, he saved his product." Well, it was good. So, yeah, this is a stupid argument.
Story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay. Next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025. Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other Lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it,
I love the fact that they're doing Green Lantern, and Green Lantern has never been adapted, at least in my mind, very well. I love True Detective. I think you need some good writers and directors for that. But these are my two favorite Green Lanterns, and we've either gotten Hal Jordan or mainly John Stewart. Obvious reasons I'm not going to get into, but I think it's cool putting both of them together, maybe in a murder mystery, but it has intergalactic like alien feel. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like doing a Men in Black thing because that was loosely what Men in Black did, right? They were cops that kept the peace on Earth that nobody knew about, and I like that kind of spin on it. So very interesting idea.
they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters we are now bringing into the DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes. We're doing a television series called Paradise Lost.
So first, I want to talk about The Authority. The Wild Bunch or whatever, they've been around in comics. I very vaguely know. I've heard of the Authority. I think they've done a couple of crossover things. I know a little bit about them. Cool idea. James Gunn definitely excels at bringing in groups or characters that aren't very well known and making them interesting. So I think it'll be fine.
Paradise Lost is a story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction.
I love the idea of doing more with the mascara. I thought in the larger universe when DC first started with Wonder Woman, I thought there was a lot of potential with the mascara and all of that. I'd like to see a Game of Thrones Wonder Woman show. That'd be very interesting. In the comic books, there's a lot of political intrigue, stuff that they never get into with any media. And once again, I think James Gunn's got a very good grasp, and I like how he's highlighting different unique properties. And this is the key. We've seen Batman, Superman, all of the big heroes explored. Every iteration, many years since I was a kid, it's always been Batman, Superman, the Flash more recently. On the CW, you had like Green Arrow and Supergirl and things like that, but you never see any of the lesser known characters of the DC universe. I like to see a lot with John Constantine because he's one of my favorite DC characters. Uh, you never see anybody dive deep into the different groups that exist, and there's a lot that make up the mythical end of DC. I think it's very more heavy myth based than even Marvel. And I think that James Gunn is a perfect person to tell these little odder side stories and work with these different side characters.
Production of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on.
Now, I'm conflicted about this. Everybody who's a DC fan does not like Damian Wayne. I've never liked any iteration of Damian Wayne. I think he's a little shit. There's aspects I like. They did him in Deceased, which was a good run where Batman essentially became a zombie and Damian had to take over. In that arc, I think was the best he was ever written, but people have done a poor job. This is where I am a little skeptical because, as James Gunn stated, he's going to separate Matt Reeves, Todd Phillips, and is calling them Elseworlds stories. So, to answer everyone's question, the Matt Reeves Batman is not the Batman that's going to be in the DCU. That's in its own thing, and they're making it very clear, which is fine. I think he's making it very clear to audiences, and that universe is going to exist in its own kind of thing. And that's fine. You don't need everything to connect to everything else. So they're going to have their own Batman, Superman combo in here. And it'd be interesting to see if we get Robert Pattinson's Batman cross in there. I don't think you're going to get Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. They're very clear. Those are Elseworld stories. DC's been doing this for years. So it does make sense. There's things that aren't connected or on a different earth, as they say. So
on Grant Morrison's great comic book run, Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's
got to be the only person on planet Earth who likes Damian Wayne as the Robin. Most people like Tim Drake, or they like who's Nighthawk, the like very first Robin. Damian is a hit or miss. It's going to depend on who plays him as an actor and what story they're going with.
Assassin who Batman tries to get in line. And so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family in the DCU. Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics' really popular cult heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is based.
I love Booster Gold. I think that this is a great story for James Gunn to tell. Booster Gold is kind of a con man, and they do a loose story of this in uh, Legends of Tomorrow. But Booster Gold basically stole a computer and went back into the past where the technology was less advanced. And there's even some stories where he goes toe to toe with members of the Justice League and stuff like that. It's hilarious. I think he's very heavily connected with Blue Beetle, so I would love to see Booster Gold. I'd actually love to see what's his face play him. I think this is a perfect part for God. What's his name? Him and James Gunn work together a lot. God, he's in. Oh my God, I am blanking out on the name, but he was in Firefly. He played Malcolm Reynolds. I'll think of his name. But he strikes me as the perfect Booster Gold. Like he's very cocky. My kind of character. I am very much interested in this project.
Basically, the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series. One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents, whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way. So she's a much more jaded character.
I think that run of Supergirl could be very interesting. I've always liked Supergirl. I think that we haven't had a lot of stories that involve Supergirl and that have been done right. I think the best I've ever seen Supergirl adapted in live action was Smallville. Yes, I'll go back to Smallville. I think that was where they got the character actually closest. Other than that, there's not been very many adaptations. And like I said, I like that James Gunn is doing these projects and messing with these characters that have never been utilized or haven't been utilized correctly in the DC. I've waited forever for them to do a proper Supergirl. So I'm pretty excited about that.
And that brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about, a very dark horror story in the origins of the monster who is Swamp Thing. And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And
I believe him when he says this, and this is the most important thing. And this is when I get into debates about Marvel stuff and things like that. And my biggest disagreements, and what I felt Marvel used to do well. Deadpool gave me hope, but even in that, story is super important, and I believe James Gunn when he says that because James Gunn, if you watch all of his movies and even with the bizarre humor and kind of the adult humor and things like that, he's always had unique stories and a unique storytelling style. And I do believe him when he says that story is important. I like how he says the writing, the directing, everybody's vision has to line up because that is important. Everybody should have a unique creative vision. They should be able to do what they want to do, but it should fit in the confines of a story. It should be structured in a way that makes sense. And that's DC's biggest problem. And look, I'm a fan, I can admit that. DC has had terrible cohesions with stories or good ideas, but poorly executed. And I like that they have one person at the top who is going to, well, two, because Peter Safran is working with James Gunn. Uh, but it's good to have somebody who's pulling the visions of the creative teams together and keeping them focused and keeping the narrative focused and letting people be unique but not stepping too far out of the grander scale story they're trying to tell.
I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys. and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so that was James Gunn's first announcement. I never got to break it down and kind of talk about it. I think that's awesome. I think he has set out to do that. Now, the reception from different people and different fans has been anything from super excited to people being super weird, like going, I don't like the Superman costume. Well, I haven't seen the fucking movie. So people didn't like the Joker design for the Joker, and then they saw the movie and they're like, oh, yeah, okay, that isn't that bad. It's like people always have to bitch and complain about something stupid. And if the only problem I have right now is, oh, the S looks different, who gives a fuck? Superman has had so many costumes and so many costume designs and different variations. In Smallville, he never wore the costume literally until the last 5 minutes of the end of the series. So, come on, shut the fuck up, people. That's stupid. It's a stupid reason to have such disagreements. And literally, I remember seeing a debate, and it's been ongoing with set photos leaked and stuff where they're like, oh, the scenes don't look very well. Well, it's a fucking set. They haven't shot anything. The scenes don't look like they're going to look in the movie. It's just people on set. It's like people have been bitching every step of the way. And that's why I'm hoping this movie just rocks it, because I really want to shut people up who are just looking at things leaked. And it's why I hate the way the internet is now. And I don't even look at that shit. I want to see the movie when it comes out. I don't want to go on how do I say, conjunction. So that was his announcement, uh, introducing the DC world. Now I want to get to the San Diego Comic-Con. There was a lot of questions because James Gunn did not show up, and I found it hilarious. So he explains why, and so this is the latest announcement from James Gunn concerning 2024. Okay, let me get full screen here. All right, here we go.
Oh, hey, there's one more thing I'd like to share with you. From our earliest days at DC Studios, my partner Peter Safran and I have been laser focused on bringing the traditionally distinct worlds of DC film, TV, animation, and gaming into alignment under a single banner. Peter and I knew we needed one logo that would bring us all together. We knew it needed to be something that was immediately recognizable, something that honored the comics, the legendary writers and artists who inspired everything we do, including our own Jim Lee, of course.
And I have to say, I hated the logo changes for the life of me, and this has always been a thing. Marvel, I give them credit; they have kept their logos the same. DC's logos have gone through like 60 different changes. It's been fucking ridiculous.
Not to mention the generations of passionate and extraordinary DC fans. We needed a logo that pays honor to our past and now signifies our future, ours and yours. Thank you for your support over the past year and change. I can't wait to show you all what we have in store for you.
Well, James, I've been receptive to the change. I can't speak to everybody else who says ridiculous shit on Twitter.
We promise to put every ounce of our hearts and souls into honoring the legacy of Superman, of Batman, of Wonder Woman, and of all the DC Comics characters. And I promise this logo will be a sign of the love and passion and respect and hard work that goes into those creations. So now I have the distinct pleasure of showing you our DC Studios logo. I can pretend we worked long and hard on figuring out what that was, but the truth is we knew exactly what we wanted that logo to be from.
So this is the new DC Studios logo. And I gotta say, I like it. They went back. I think it's very recognizable. It's kind of harkened back to the old school DC. A lot of DC comics had this logo back in the day, so they went with an older design. I think this is a clear statement about James wanting to bring it back to the days where they showed care with DC properties. So I like it. I know people have been joking saying, "Oh, Marvel announced Robert Downey Jr. coming back, and all DC had was a logo." Shut the fuck up. Like half of you people are still bitching about whether or not you want Robert Downey Jr. to come back. And yeah, we got a logo, but guess what? Everybody in DC likes the fucking new logo, so fuck you. I get so fucking pissed off with the way people like make up so many fucking excuses for Marvel. And then, DC fans have something to be hyped about and they go, "Oh, he announced at Comic Con your logo. Oh, you guys must feel special." You know what? I fucking like logo announcements. It's very important. You see a box of cereal, you get the box of cereal because what's on the box. Everybody knows if you get Lucky Charms and then you go to like, I don't know, a fucking great value and you get uh Lucky uh Dums or Jarms, right? And there's a cheap little knockoff character, you're not gonna fucking buy that because that's not Lucky Charms. That's a knockoff. That's how important logos are. People piss me off sometimes.
Moment we took charge of DC Studios. If it looks familiar to you, well, you might very well be a DC fan.
Exactly. Thank you, James. I am a DC fan. I fucking recognize that logo right away. James gets me.
Much love to all of you and have a wonderful con.
So this is stuff from the con, and I love that. Like, that is great. So we have, I just want to break that down for a second. We have the very old school, this is like the old, like 30s Superman bursting out, and there's the logo. Dude, people going nuts. Yes, that is fantastic. Um, so people are talking about James Gunn must be confident they're not showing new Superman. Yeah, because he doesn't want fucking leaked all over the internet. Of course he's not showing everything. No, like everybody else has their shit leak every 5 minutes. So I like that they're keeping tight-lipped about what is going to go on. So I'm going to read an article from Comic Books that kind of addresses it. And it's even in the media, right? They take shots saying, "Oh, James must be pretty confident about his movie. He didn't give a teaser or anything." Why the fuck is he going to give a teaser for a movie that comes out in 2025? Like, people are so fucking stupid. And yes, now I'm going to rant a little bit. I know a lot of people like a Zod rant, so here it goes. People are so fucking stupid. Let me ask you a question. How did the whole Marvel thing go with them undercutting Deadpool to reveal Downey Jr. coming back as Dr. Doom? So now you take a movie that's on its way to make $1 billion and you kind of undercut the excitement by announcing that Robert Downey Jr. is going to play Dr. Doom. I thought it was a very weird announcement and kind of comes off as desperate, where DC is not giving a shit about Superman. They shouldn't. I don't want to know till there's a trailer for it. I don't want it to be ruined. So it's like, why the fuck is this a thing? Like, it's been a thing with DC. It happened with Dark Knight, which was held as one of the best Batman movies of all time, where people talk shit about Heath Ledger's Joker. They talk shit about Christian Bale being Batman. They talk shit about Wonder Woman. They talk shit about Aquaman. And all of these movies surpass expectations. So you know what? I don't want to hear shit. I want to let them cook and come up with something good. Man, sorry. It just, it just, it just amazes me. Uh, people, people fucking amaze me with their stupid comments. So this is from comicbooks.com, and it says James Gunn's skipping the San Diego Comic Con 2024 because it's too soon to show anything. And I agree. It is too soon. Don't fucking spoil anything for me. I do not want to fucking have this movie's ending leaked online or the plot ruined for me. Good. He said it's almost a year until Superman comes out, and producers didn't want to give away too much early. Yes, because it's a fucking year until the movie comes out. Superman doesn't come out until July 2025. Why the fuck would they spoil anything for this year's Comic-Con? That makes no fucking logical sense. You're going to save it for next year, for Comic-Con 2025. That is what logical thinking people do. Why this is a big deal, like it's such a big scandalous thing, is fucking boggles my mind. Yes, of course they're not going to come out and tell you stuff. Don't tell me stuff. Drop a fucking trailer and surprise me. And please don't give too much away. Like, even the writing of this is so cynical and fucking like, oh, well, look at Marvel. Look at what they did. Yeah, they come off as desperate. DC sounds like they're actually planning shit out. God forbid somebody actually does that. So DC wasn't skipping San Diego Comic Con this year, but James Gunn Superman is. Why? Well, because they don't want to spend 12 months promoting a movie and wearing out its welcome. I 100% agree with that. They shouldn't. Don't over promote it. Just hype it up for when it's coming out. That's called marketing. That's actually good business sense. I don't see where people's concerns come from. It's just like, oh man, sometimes the fucking internet age is so stupid. I can't even put into words. That's according to Gunn's partner, Peter Safran, who I think is doing great on the business end. He talked to the Wrap about the first movie to come out in the new DC universe since San Diego Comic Con takes place from July 23rd to the 27th next year. It does mean the DC team will lose their chance to promote the movie at Comic Con, but it's likely that if the movie is a success, they'll still be celebrating it 2 weeks later. And it's like, this is smart business sense, which I don't understand with how this is a thing with marketing these days that ruins a movie. You have a lot of studios and a lot of companies that want to go to a celebration or they want to promote something like prime example, and I'm using this again because it's Marvel, right? Avengers Doomsday is not going to be slated until like the next 2 or 3 years. But they announced Robert Downey Jr. at Comic Con. That is crazy to me. Like, so if you have to miss the Comic Con bunch, then you can hype it up 2 weeks later at the next Comic Con. That makes complete sense to me. Like, I don't understand how this is some kind of big revolutionary maneuver. This is just good business. Uh, so since San Diego Comic Con will take place from July 23rd through the 27th of next year, it does mean the DC team will lose their chance to promote the movie at Comic Con, and it'll come out 2 weeks later. The movie side of DC won't be represented at San Diego Comic Con, even as DC Comics Publishers has a bunch of huge news that all tie into their DC All In initiative. Gunn's Creature Commando animated series that serves as the first official launch of the new DC universe on screen is represented as well, which I was excited for. That was a decent trailer. From my perspective, it's just too soon. Safran told the Wrap a year is truthfully a long time for a campaign. And so, from our perspective, I think we go stronger and harder over a shorter period rather than stretching it out. That's our instincts on that. And I agree. I agree. Like, hit people with the surprise, and people like short term, like, just come out of nowhere. A lot of people love Superman. Give them a surprise trailer drop, or drop it at towards the end of the year. You show the first trailer for Superman Brave and Bold. Um, that's or Superman Legacy, I think they're calling it. That is the perfect strategy. Don't fucking bend to these idiots who want you to come out a year later and spoil everything. That's stupid. That's why we're in the state we are with media, and nobody cares when these projects come out. He also noted while Superman is very close to completion, Gunn hasn't finished actually shooting the movie yet. Obviously, there could be teaser footage if that's where the studio's instincts were, but that isn't something Gunn has ever seemed especially enthusiastic about in the past. And yeah, all the shit that's come out with Guardians was mandated by Marvel. So let Gunn do his thing. He said James hasn't wrapped yet. I think when we put your first foot forward for us for our first theatrical live action experience, there's a lot of expectations on that, Safran explained, and we really have to make sure we deliver every step of the way, but certainly with the first time out. So that's why we opted not to be there. That makes sense. Superman's stars David Cornslot as the title character and Rachel Bro- Bros- Brosnan, God, I butchered that, as Lois Lane. Little is known about the story other than it will involve a version of Superman who has settled into his role as the world's protector, but who also has a network of allies to fall back on. Superman will also star Skylar Gaston as Jimmy Olsen, uh, Wendell Pierce as Perry White, Sarah Shampoo Sarah Shampoo as Eve. God, I'm not gonna say that. Terrence Rushmore as Otis, Maria Gabrielle as Angelia. I have no clue who that is. The engineer Elizabeth Mercer and as Kendra Saunders, Hawk Girl. Nathan Fillion. Yes, I am so happy about this. Nathan Fillion is going to play Guy Gardner, uh, which is one of the Green Lanterns. And I was saying I also wanted Nathan Fillion to do uh, Booster Gold, but I think he's a good Guy Gardner because that is the sarcastic Green Lantern. I think that fits his persona very well. Um, you have Michael Holt as Mr. Terrific, Anthony Carnegie as Rex Mason, um, uh, uh, Mikal Hoover as Cat Grant, and Christopher McDonald as Ron Trope. One thing I noticed too um, is that they had Nichols Holt as Lex Luthor. I think that's a good choice. I saw the new look. Um, he looks pretty good in it. Let me see if I can pull up a picture. I've always thought Nicholas Holt is a good uh, actor, so I don't know. They had pictures of it. I don't think that they showed. I know there was a couple of things online, but I think Nicholas Holt is a good choice as Lex Luthor. A lot better than Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg, I believe, was the shittiest Lex Luthor of all time. So, yeah. So they were talking about okay, they wanted something at this Comic Con. They don't understand what the team is doing. I think Peter Safran gave very good reasons. Like, I think that this is marketing 101. Keep your cards close to the vest. This is the first movie. Everybody's going to pick apart every little scene, every little thing that you show. So if you're going to cut a trailer, if you're going to do some promoting, then you want to. This is the first official live action movie in the DC universe. This is going to be the first steps into creating the DC going forward. It's how does that saying go? The first impression is your last impression. So you fuck it up, and all people are going to remember is you fucked up Superman. And that is a huge fuck up. You won't come out of the gate and mess up one of the biggest characters in the DC universe because you're going to have a lot of Superman fans. And I'm not a fan of Superman, but there is a lot of people who like Superman. You fuck up Superman out the gate, you might as well just pack it in and go home. And so I understand that. Like, nah, man, we ain't gonna show you shit. You gotta wait like everybody else. I think it's stupid to for people to put such a I don't know. I don't know. It just it frustrates me with some of the talk that I hear. So um yeah, lost my train of thought. But anyways, yeah, so those are the events going on with James Gunn and things like that. So coming out of DC, let me talk about the announcements that we did get and kind of wrap things up with the Comic-Con stuff that we got. We got trailers that I critiqued them all yesterday. I don't know if they'll be able to be seen because YouTube sucks and they pulled my video even though I clearly did commentary over the trailers or whatever else. But we got trailers from Creature Commandos. We got the new Penguin trailer, or the final Penguin trailer. Hellboy, I'm very conflicted about. Uh, it's called Hellboy Crooked Man. They got some new stuff. There is some new announcements as far as HBO Max goes. They have Harley Quinn returning for season 5, and Kite Man, which is a spinoff off of that. Should be interesting. They're connecting the two shows now. There is the what was it, Waller, I believe. They also announced that Peacemaker season 2 has been in production for a while, so that's going to be coming out probably next year, but that's going to be alongside Superman. So you're going to have Superman and Peacekeeper in the same year. I think that is fantastic. And yeah, there wasn't really much else I can think of as far as it goes. But yeah, James Gunn not showing up was the biggest thing in that, and I think that their reasonings for James Gunn not being there, it's smart. It makes sense. It makes perfect business sense. And I don't understand why we live in a world where everything's got to be shown all at once. Everybody thinks that, oh, if you don't show this, if you don't show that, you're failing. So I don't know. It's super ridiculous, super ridiculous. But there is it is definitely very interesting stuff. I'm super excited. I think James Gunn, like most, have a clear vision. They have a clear direction and stuff like that. They have a place that they're going with it. So I want to go to another YouTuber who's called Bobo Talks. I listen to him a lot. He covers some different DC stuff. So it was just show some stuff he talks about as far as Superman Legacy goes before I start to wrap things up. And kind of give you guys an idea here of the
one for me. Then we have
so
a little bit of a montage of video footage that he's got of the Superman set. And I haven't seen this pop up anywhere else. So I'm just going to go through it, play it, maybe pause it a couple of times, just for like the occasion of, going full circle now with the Superman shoot. Obviously, we don't know exactly what from. Some drone footage there that they will be using for the film. The Daily Planet. No logo there, though. I don't know if this was shot before that went up. The good old Daily Planet logo on the shop windows. That would be the bookstore. Stag Industries. We can see the Stag logo there as well. Little S.
So I'm pretty stoked about seeing some of this footage. Looks pretty interesting.
And this is the Action Committee of Metropolis, 1938. Obviously a reference to Action Comics, 1938. Lord Tech, the good old Lord Tech logo, sponsoring superheroes of Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific. Good old Chocos, good old
So I like how this feels very much like they're going back to the very old school Superman. These are some deep cuts here.
Martian Manhunter reference there. Okay, some more people running away here. They're seeing something, and there's a little bit of an explosion there. Superman coming in to save the day, and that's where you see that part where they dug a massive hole in the street, and Superman went in there. Now, this is what I meant by some really high-quality footage. You see James Gunn there and David Corenswet filming this very scene. And look how good this footage is of the Superman suit. I mean, I know we've all seen good old high-quality pictures of the suit, but I don't think I've come across a video like this, which is...
So this is the new Superman suit, and like, look, it looks fine. I have no, I do not for the life of me understand what people's issue is. And the biggest thing I've heard, not to harp on this, but once again, this is what I hear on X, is the S. People have a problem with the S. People were calling the suit trash. Um, from what I'm seeing right now, I would like to know how this suit looks like trash. This suit reminds me very much of the old school Superman. If I remember being a kid and like my dad and everybody talking about the very old school Superman show and things like that. This has a very throwback feel, and I get from this movie and from the vibes that the movie is giving off, it gives me a very old school Superman, which good, glad they should. James Gunn has a reverence for the past, for obscure characters, for the preservation of certain styles of comic books and the way things are done, but also a sensibility for things that are new. Um, I very much like the vibe of this, and I'm not even the biggest Superman fan, but I think it's fine. In the comments, let me know what do you guys think of the new Superman suit. Go ahead and comment and just tell me. I think it's fine. I don't know why so many people are bitching and complaining. This looks like any other suit. I guess people like the glossy bullshit ones that we got in the Snyderverse. I'll probably get some hate for that.
Is, not really blurry. It's not massively spoilery. It's just James Gunn and David Corenswet just hanging out and shooting the scene. The suit is a bit dusty, so from when the people are running away, obviously Superman is saving the day, but is...
Like that to me, like hold on, I just want to go back a little bit to the full
so
reveal.
from when the people...
Like I like that design. That is Superman's suit. I have no clue why so many people have such a beef with
We're
this.
running away. Obviously, Superman is saving the day, but is getting a bit bashed in. Now, this is him going into the hole. It's like, get in there. And he looks pretty battered, have to say. James Gunn's like, yeah, Corenswet, maybe act a little bit more battered. You want to act like you've just been completely smashed into the ground. And then this is where we get that moment where the Metropolis citizens come towards him, and then one of them in particular, actually, lends a hand and pulls him out. Man, look at that cape. Look at the logo on the back. Honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I can't imagine the cape and this suit looking as good without the crest on the cape. I imagine it just being blank red, and sure, that looks cool too, and we're very familiar with that with Superman, but I just can't unsee it now. It's more James Gunn Corenswet there putting up the umbrella, and look at that cape flapping in the wind as he walks away. Absolutely.
That is an amazing shot right there. So yeah, I think that's cool. I like that footage.
Brilliant. So, just want to give a massive shout out to the comic panelist. I'll leave his link in the description of this video so you can go to his page. But just wanted to share that with you as, again, a little...
And definitely go check out that channel. They have some good stuff. So basically that is it. That's what I wanted to talk about, and just the announcements, the different things surrounding it, everything that came out of DC. So I've covered in these past 2 days all of San Diego Comic-Con for the DC side, and tonight with Pop Culture PB, I'm going to cover the Marvel side, because while I did shit on the announcement a bit today, just because people shit on DC, that's my clap back. At least people were happy with the logo. Fuck you, I don't care. But I am going to cover the Marvel stuff and go over all of the announcements tonight concerning Marvel and get people's thoughts and ideas on that. And in the comments below, let me know. So far, how are you liking the show? Is there anything you would like me to cover? Any news or anything that you are interested in? Um, the schedule for this show is that I'm going to start doing these every day, Monday through Friday. I will take a break Saturday and Sunday. Also, on Wednesdays, I will have a tier list. This Wednesday is going to be the battle royale between heroes and villains. We got the brackets done. I'm currently working on the bracket list so that I could have that all set for you guys Wednesday. It's probably going to be a different tier list maker. I don't know unless I can figure out how to import images. I'm going to play around with it today. And also on Tuesdays at 8:30, and tonight will be the premiere of me and PB's Marvel Tuesday. So we have a Marvel discussion that we will be doing at night at 8:30 Central Time with Pop Culture PB, where we will talk about the other end of it. So you guys get two sides, and it's going to be every Tuesday night at 8:30. We are going to have this show, and you can join me every morning here at noon or morning. It feels like morning for me. You could join me every afternoon. I'll go for about an hour. I like to keep these so that everybody can watch this and you can have something quick instead of my normal 3-hour stream. I want to keep this a quick, breezy hour. You could even listen to this as a podcast and just listen to the sweet sounds of my voice. Eventually, I like to have other people who are DC fans on here, maybe do quick discussions and things like that. But I will be doing more news stories. Just the biggest thing to come out of DC has been the Comic-Con stuff, so I wanted to cover it these first 2 days, kind of give you all of my thoughts on that. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you. There was a surprising amount of people who have checked out the video so far. Thank you for supporting this. I get very nervous launching brand new content, especially shows having to do more with the comic book side of things. This is something I'm very passionate about, and I appreciate everybody watching. I'm going to have more reviews up and more videos. I have my top 10 list coming. I'm still working on that. I might do a first half of the year top 10 list to kind of give you guys an idea of where I'm at as far as my rankings are concerned. I've seen a lot of movies this year, so I got a lot of movies to sift through. So it's gonna be a really really long list of stuff that I have to do. But this year I'm going to be doing 3 different top 10 lists. I'm going to be doing top 10 Netflix shows. I'm gonna do top 10 movies of this year and top 10 horror movies of this year. So those will be coming out around December. I'm probably going to shoot for the end of December so that I can get every single movie possible and see as many as I can to get them all on the list if they're going to make it. And also, don't miss tonight. We're going to do Marvel Tuesday. We are going to talk about Marvels and now. We're going to break down everything that happened at Comic Con. We're going to go over all the stuff about Fantastic Four. We'll talk about Captain America. We're also going to talk about the Deadpool movie on there, and give us probably towards the end some spoiler thoughts because PV saw it, and he hasn't gotten a chance to talk about it yet. I will be on there with my co-host Pop Culture PB, and we will be talking everything Marvel. And thank you so much, everybody who's been watching this. I really appreciate you. Thank you for listening to the nerdy side of Zod. I'll be doing more reviews. I'm going to be bringing back late night talks, but I just have been super busy on Fridays. So I'm looking to bring that back sometime to just do regular news and events and things like that. There's quite a few things I want to talk about. I think this Friday I'm going to do a new late night talks and see what I can assemble for that. But thank you everybody for watching. I really appreciate you guys. In the comments below, let me know everything you heard. What do you think about James Gunn's run? What do you think about the announcements? Do you not care? That's fine. You can put it in the comments. Or is there something you're excited for? Is there something you're curious for? If you have any questions or things you want me to cover concerning DC, leave that in the comments for me, and I'll check it out. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And as always, remember, there is only one rule here in the Phantom Zone. Kneel before General Zod.